Well, students, we're gonna keep working on these non-objective abstract art pieces. The first thing I want you to do is to be able to find the shape. So we said that when lines cross each other, they make a shape. So I would like you to outline the shape first so you can identify it. And then once we have that identified, I'd like you to decide, are you gonna do shading? Are you gonna do color mixing? Are you gonna put a pattern in it? We will spend a lot of time on these, so I'm not expecting you to get it all colored. I expect you to maybe, I don't know, if they're smaller shapes, maybe 4 of them will be done. If they're bigger shapes, you probably will only do maybe 3 of them. So I'm gonna start working this out, and I'll start with this first shape. I'm gonna make this one a color mixing shape. So I'm gonna do this one with some greens. So I'm gonna first find the shape, and I'm gonna hold it way down low so I don't break the tip off. Part of this is really pressing the color on hard. So I'm gonna follow the black line. When I get to another black line, I'm gonna stop. So I get here. I don't go over here because that's a different shape, so it's gonna have a different idea. So I'm gonna get here, go around that dot. I don't wanna color over the dot. Then I'm gonna go over here. I'm gonna stop here. That's a different shape, so I wanna stop. And if you get to the bottom or the edge of your paper, then you would go across this way. And when you get back to where you started, you know you have found a shape. Now within this shape, I'm going to put one idea. This one is gonna be an example of color mixing, or shading from dark to light. So I'm gonna use kind of a zigzag line like this, trying to fill in the yellow paper, and then I'm gonna go from this darker green into kind of a lime green, and I'm gonna overlap it a little bit using a zigzag line into a really light yellow green. Can't really see it too much on the paper because the paper is yellow, but if you used used pink or a different color paper, you would be able to see it. Then I'm just gonna repeat the pattern. Sometimes there are colors that have more colors in them. This box of crayons just has 3 greens. So I'm gonna continue that all the way throughout the whole shape. I wouldn't all of a sudden start coloring it blue because I wanna stick with my one idea until I have gotten all the way to the other edge of the shape. So here, we'll go back to this. Using that zigzag line until that whole shape is filled in. I'm not sure if this will make much of a difference, but I might as well try it. If I add a little bit of white into that yellow, that might lighten it up a little bit. So it's always good to have a little bit of white on hand to test that out. So now that, since this one has color mixing in it, I wanna make sure that the next shape I do has a different color, it has a different idea. So for this next one, I think that I'm gonna do this one with some purples and pinks. So I'm gonna go here and I'm gonna outline it with purple. Go around my dots. And we'll go around this edge. And now that I'm at this side of my paper, I'm going to come down here, all the way down to the bottom, and then I'll go around this dot too. This one, I'll go around this until we get back to here. Now within this one, I could make a pattern like straight, zigzag, straight, zigzag. I can make colors that repeat. maybe I could do a dotted pattern or something. I'm just thinking of so many ideas in my mind, and I want to make this one kind of a crossing pattern, so I'm going to make lines in it. But you can see that I've only used purple so far. So I want to make sure to introduce a new color. So here I'm going to cross it like this. And purple is right next to red, but red also counts as pink. So I'm gonna do kind of a pink color next to it. So then this can become two colors. And I've got kind of purple, pink, purple, pink. Pink is kind of a cool color because pink is also next to orange. So I could add a third color within this pattern, but you can see that this is taking me a while to do. I want to take even more time than this, so I'll probably come back and work on it a little bit more, but introducing these other colors makes it a lot more fun to do. So within this line pattern, I might do something like, I'm gonna make this a pattern of, use a little bit of orange in here. If the orange touches the purple too much, it's fine if it touches the pink, but if it touches the purple too much, orange and purple together can smear and make it look a little bit dirty. So just be careful if you're using colors that are farther away on the color wheel. So it's fine if it touches the pink, but I don't want it to touch the purple because it'll smear and look dirty. Just as if I used like black, I wouldn't want it to touch my lighter colors, so I'd always use black as one of my last colors. So I will probably come back through here and then make this a pattern within a pattern of something like orange, and then I can do blue, orange, blue, orange, and blue. We'll pretend that I finished this pattern because I do want to press it on a little bit harder. But once this one is done, then I would work on my next shape. So let me do one that's just a little bit more simple too for this, for these ideas, where like this one, I haven't used any red yet. So let's do this one. This is just a really small shape. So I'm gonna go up here and we'll make this one a really simple pattern. So maybe I'm gonna do this one with something like straight, and then I'm gonna do zigzag, and then I'm gonna do straight, and then I can do zigzag. And then in order to make this look a little bit more interesting, I'm gonna pick a different blue, so then I can make these like a dark blue and light blue. And then instead of doing red, I'm gonna do pink as my choice. So thinking about how colors can be like a dark and a light. So then in this version, I would do red, and red is right next to pink. So then I would fill in those spaces. So that's a much simpler pattern of zigzag, straight, zigzag, straight. You can see how I'm trying to fill in those spaces. So 3 shapes is quite a lot to do. You can see that we'll spend a lot more time working on these other ones, but if one has color mixing, another one has pattern. If one has pattern, one has shading. If one has shading, then one might have lines, but using a variety of things. So different colors, different patterns, different lines, different shapes, so that they're all unique. And I wouldn't do like green, 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 green everywhere, or straight line, straight line, straight line, straight line everywhere, making sure to come up with different ideas. All right, let's have fun.